Southwest Human Development is a nonprofit focused on early childhood development, and starting today, they're hosting a Birth to Five Helpline Awareness Week. It's an effort to provide resources to parents and caregivers with questions about childhood concerns. Jake Adams is the Chief Development Officer at Southwest Human Development. Jake Adams, good to have you here. Southwest Human Development, this Birth to Five Healthline Awareness Week. Tell us more about this.
Yeah, so Southwest Human Development, the organization I work for, is Arizona and probably the nation's largest early childhood nonprofit focused on young kids age 0 to 5. So you want to think babies, toddlers, and preschoolers. One of our featured programs is our Birth to 5 Helpline. And this is a program that is really universally available to any parent or caregiver in the state of Arizona who has a child between the ages of 0 to 5. And what parent doesn't have a question about their young child?
Right, right. And speaking of questions, what kind of questions do you usually hear or most often hear?
So we got a lot of questions about potty training. My child's not doing the same thing the other kids are doing. One question that we got was a dad who called and said, my 2-year-old is hitting my 6-month-old every time my wife sets him down. That was the call that I made. So challenging behaviors, and my colleagues on the Birth to 5 Helpline who are experts in early childhood have wide variety of backgrounds, including nursing and child care center, high quality preschool. And they really talked through the challenges that we were having, this behavior, and the solutions that we came up with together weren't logical. And they also didn't make me feel bad about trying time out and these other things that really don't work and probably aren't age appropriate. But it was pretty amazing. I call them baby whisperers. I really do.
Yeah, yeah. Where do you find these people?
Well, a lot of the staff of the Birth to 5 Helpline have come from various programs that we have here at Southwest Human Development, of which we have 40. So we've got a lot of folks to select from, but we really look for people who have a lot of experience, a varied experience, and that educational background. The program is run by a doctoral level early childhood mental health specialist, as well as a master's level education specialist, and we've got master's level staff. But the education is really important, but the experience is what we really look for.
Yeah,
folks who can really think with the parents and try to figure out what's going on and how to really help them.
The helpline has been around, certainly the support line has been around since I think 2005, somewhere along those lines. Things changed over the years as far as the questions you're hearing?
So a lot of the basic questions, the common questions that we get are universal. These are things that are going to come up, child development questions. I will say that during the COVID time, we've gotten a lot of questions about how do I talk with my 3-year-old or my 4-year-old about why they're not in school, or why they have to be quarantined, or why they're home with mom and dad all of a sudden. So really trying to explain that in an age-appropriate way, in a way that isn't going to frighten that child unnecessarily, but really give them an understanding and have them feel more confident. And sometimes really helping the parents to feel a little bit more competent and confident with what they're trying to figure out.
Yeah, and not just parents and caregivers, I would imagine. Let's say you're a neighbor. Let's say you're just someone who says, you know, that kid over across the street, I love him, he's a great little guy, but ... Should they call the support line?
Well, if they're caring for that child, then absolutely. Or if maybe their neighbor is coming over and saying, hey, I don't know what to do. What do you think I ought to do?
Yeah.
Well, pick up the phone and call. I say, the grandparents are a great one. I call my dad all the time, and I'm like, "Hey, Dad, what would you do in this situation?" Well, I can't remember. My boys are 18 months apart, and I can't remember what my older son was doing 18 months ago and what to expect. So I can't imagine how hard it is for grandparents when their kids call and ask about these young children. So grandparents can call. Really, anybody who's caring for those young children.
Yeah, yeah. And we should mention again, birth to 5, I mean, all important years as far as development is concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you think about very young children like that, you can't just say, hey, why are you crying? And they're not going to be able to answer you, or if they are, they're probably not going to be able to tell you the real reason or explain it. Certainly before they're verbal, that would be impossible. So having somebody with that expertise with those young children makes such a world of difference to help you better understand as a parent exactly what is going on and how to respond that will best support your child.
Yeah, and I believe the number again now, 877-705-KIDS, correct?
That's right. And you know what's great about this is there's an app as well. Whether you have Android or an iPhone, you can download it. And you can even text because the reality is most of the people who are having babies now are a lot younger than I am, and they love to text.
Yeah, it's a brave new world out there, Jake.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Jake Adams, Southwest Human Development, congratulations on the support line and for a big week for the support line, and best of luck.
Thank you. As there are always going to be new babies being born, we really appreciate your help in letting folks know about this service, because until you know it even exists, it is pretty unique. And most states do not have a Birth to Five helpline. So we're pretty lucky here in Arizona.
All right. Thank you, Jake.
Thanks, Ted.